This is a flute, and this is the next instrument in the band that I'd like to show you. The flute is a woodwind, which surprises people sometimes because this flute's made out of metal. Flutes used to be made out of wood in the old days. Now, more often you'll see them made out of metal. But it's still considered a woodwind. It has a lot of fingerings, a lot of buttons that you press. Most woodwinds are played with a lot of buttons. The flute as I said, it's a band instrument, and it could also play all kinds of music, just like any instrument. It can play jazz, it can play in symphony orchestras, you could see flute players in the marching bands, but it's primarily a band instrument. It comes in 3 parts. This is what we call the head, the bodies, the middle part, and the foot joint. So it's like head, body, foot. You can make a sound on just the head joint, and when you first learn to play the flute, this is a very good way to practice. Playing the flute is a lot like blowing on a pop bottle, if you've ever tried that. And if you have a pop bottle at home, you could try making a sound on that, and that would be similar to how you would blow on a flute. If I just blow on the head joint, it makes a very high sound. Or I could put my hand over and make a low sound. The way that you blow the flute also can change it from high to low. So part of learning to play the flute is learning to play high and low. When I put the whole flute together, then you would get the whole flute sound. Now I have to admit that this instrument is probably the woodwind instrument that I need to practice the most. So I'm going to do my best to show you on the flute, but I could use a little more practice on it. The flute does play sort of low. It plays a lot of notes. It plays the melodies of songs often. It usually gets the main part of the song. But we usually think of flutes as playing high sounds. And it can go even higher than that. The flute, because it comes apart, is carried in a small case, which a lot of people like about the flute. I'm going to play a short part of a famous song for you that I think you'll recognize. There you go. Did you recognize that song? So as I said, I could use a little more practice on the flute, but there are a lot of people that play the flute better than I do, and I hope you click on the links below and listen to them. That's the flute. Hope you liked it, and maybe you'll want to play the flute in the band.